Hi, my name is Kayla Von Mundy.
Hi, I'm Maddie Petz.
Hello, my name is Ernest Bentley.
Hi, my name is Brittany Burr.
Hi, my name is April Thompson.
Have you ever suffered from a creative block, and how did you overcome it? Yes, I think we all have, so don't feel like you're alone, especially as an actor. Sometimes I feel like you'll get to that point where, especially if it's like a new script or something, and it feels like every choice that you make is not working for you, or you're like, ugh, this sounds stupid, or I'm not feeling the way that I'm doing this, or I feel like I'm not portraying this part right, I don't really understand this, and you're just stuck. Me, sometimes I try to think to not think of acting as acting. Sometimes we look at acting as like, okay, and when they say action, now I'm acting. But sometimes it's just something you kind of just have to breathe in. You kind of have to fall in, I guess. Even then, if that doesn't work, I would say for me, watching my favorite actors or artists talk about what they do is probably the most inspirational thing. It's nothing for me like watching Viola Davis or Denzel talk about acting, talk about how they people watch or how they observe some random person and it helped them, play their role better. Watching the behind the scenes of a movie or watching the directors talk about what inspired the film or the script or this character. And it's always something so simple and so minimal that just humbles you or the project in general to thinking, this isn't about me. This isn't about me struggling through this right now. It's what can I do best to tell this story? And sometimes it's just letting go of all the vanity and getting out of your head and just being there in the moment.
Have I suffered from a creative block? Yes, for sure. I think pretty much any artist or any person would have to agree with this, that sometimes you just feel like you don't have any ideas. And that's totally okay. What I find helps me the most when I'm suffering from a creative block sounds really simple and easy, but we all know that it's hard. It's just to relax and try not to think so hard about it, because I find the more I stress out about it, the more I try and get really meticulous thinking about it too much, then I find that I just get really wrapped up and in my head and I'm blocking off all of my creative energy flow, and I feel like I can't have any good ideas coming from that state of mind. So I think the first step is just to relax, try not to think about it for a little bit. Maybe if you just take a break and come back to it, usually with a clearer headspace, I feel like a lot more ideas will be flowing freely. And then I just have to remember that one of my teachers, Biba Bell, actually said this, that you should just make work. It doesn't have to be the best thing that you've ever made. It doesn't have to be the best movement phrase I've ever made, the best piece, anything. The fact that you're making something and putting something out there is enough. So take the pressure off of yourself. And I think that helps to prevent creative block, because when there's no pressure, you are in a much more comfortable and creative state to produce some really good work.
I absolutely have, and I suffer from them. I won't necessarily say I suffer from them often, but I do encounter them often. And for me, I feel what's happening is that I have so many ideas and they're all trying to come out at the same time. So what I find that I need to do is step back. I find a number of ways to sort of unplug. I am a big rester, so I think it's important to just, whatever sort of you're blocked over, I think it's important to take a step back and to do something just to rest your mind. You can take a nap, you can sort of just meditate, you can just go look at the clouds now that it's getting warm. Anything to sort of unplug, because your mind will find a way to sort of unscramble and unblock you if you give it the space. I also love to bike, so if I'm ever feeling stressed out or I can't sort of figure something out, even if it's late at night, I'll get my lights if need be. I'll get on the road, and that helps me to focus. That helps me to clear my mind, and it helps me to sort of see my way sort of through my problems without actually directly focusing on my problems. So I found it sort of helpful to get a non sort of acting or non-creative thing, if you will, as my go-to to sort of get out of creative roadblocks, be it writing, be it figuring out a character or anything of that sort.
I've suffered several creative blocks, and how, and I definitely did one recently, and I'm sure other people did during this, when COVID and quarantine started, but how I overcame it and how I've overcame it in the past was just to remind myself, be patient and wait, and something will come. And not saying that you can just keep putting out work or creating or playing, like, of course that's always a great prompt, that's a great exercise to do, but after a while, if it seems to start doing more harm than help, then you can take a break and not do that. But some fabulous things then come out of that exercise, so don't get me wrong, like, that's amazing to do. But if that isn't helping your block, maybe you need to take a step back and just be patient, and something will come to you authentically, and it will be a little bit more original and probably have a little more like gusto to it. Like, even if it's not the most crazy, like, fantastic idea, but it will be something, and it will be you. But also with it is just remember to forgive yourself if you aren't creating. And like, say you see your colleagues or you see your friends, they're still creating and they're doing fabulous things and spectacular things, but you're like, why am I not doing that? You'll feel hurt for a moment, like yourself, you're like, am I not enough? But then you have to remember to forgive yourself. This happens to everyone at different times, and they overcome it different ways. So let yourself naturally come out of this block. Sometimes there's situations where you can force yourself out of creative block, but a lot of the times, at least with me personally, I've had to like wait it out. And of course, something finally came, and I was excited, and more thoughts kept coming. And so you just have to really understand how you work. And just for me, that's how I work. I was patient, I forgave myself, and something finally happened.
Comment. Yes. I think anyone who does anything creative, whether that's professionally or even just like for fun, is gonna hit that creative block at one point or another. And one example for me that was strongest was I was doing a show for the theater where I was interning, and I was a set designer. It was a musical. I really loved the show. I loved the soundtrack. It was all really fun, but I just had no ideas. Nothing was coming to me. So I did my normal design process, which for me involves a lot of visual research. So I was looking up, the year and the place where the show takes place, trying to get some ideas of what the city looked like at the time, what the fashion looked like, what, to get any ideas that I could. I would write down any idea that came to my mind, and nothing was really clicking. I just wasn't feeling really strongly about anything. So the things that really helped me get over that were, number one, taking some time away. Because I think when you hit that creative block, for me anyway, just trying to keep, okay, I need an idea, it just made it stressful. And it made it so much harder for me to come up with anything because it was so stressful. So I was able to take some time away. I was very fortunate that my deadlines for that show were far enough away that I could do that. And I could just work on some other projects that needed to be done for other shows that we had going on at the time. And two would be talk to other people. Talk to your mentors, especially. I've talked to my mentor for the show, and I told him, I'm like, look, I just really am hitting a block here. I have nothing. And he was able to go through the ideas I had written down with me and say, okay, well, I know you don't really feel excited about this one idea, but let's dive further into that and let's see where that can lead you. And pointed out some things that I had, some themes of what I had written down that I didn't see. Some things that, well, you seem to be really interested in this sort of aspect, so let's look at that. And when you go to someone who hasn't been actively working on the show and hitting this creative block, they're gonna help you see things that you weren't able to see. And I would say especially talk to your mentors, because they're there to help you succeed. And also talk to the rest of your theater community, because as a theater student right now and working in theater, you are so lucky to be surrounded by this community of creative people. And when you talk through ideas with them, you're gonna come up with something more exciting and fun and, great than you maybe could have thought of on your own.